What if I told you that one of the most important web pages you see every single day is one you probably don't even really notice? Today, we're going to deconstruct a page that is so simple, so familiar, that its real complexity is just hiding in plain sight.
So let me just ask you this. What is the most important web page you visit? I mean, is it your email inbox, your favorite news site, maybe social media? Well, the answer might actually surprise you. Yeah, it's this. Just 2 words. Sign in. I mean, think about it. This is the gatekeeper. This is the digital doorway standing between you and, well, everything. Your email, your photos, your documents, basically your entire online life. And yet we just click right through it without a second thought, don't we? So let's actually give this page the attention it deserves. This isn't just some form you fill out. This is what we're going to call the universal gateway. It's truly one of the most critical doorways in our modern world.
To really get it, we need to do something like an exploded view, like you'd see in an engineer's blueprint. We're going to take apart every single link, every phrase, every option on this page. And when we do, you'll see it's built on 3 big ideas: identity, security, and agreement.
So let's kick things off with the most basic question this page is asking. Who are you? This is where we have to understand the idea of your digital key, the thing you use to prove you are who you say you are online. The page starts with a really simple instruction. Use your Google account. Now, that's a phrase we've all read 1,000 times, but we rarely ever stop to process it. So what exactly is a Google account? A Google account is way more than just a username and password. The best way to think about it is like a digital passport. It's this one unified identity that unlocks a massive ecosystem. Everything from your Gmail and Google Drive to your YouTube watch history and even your phone settings. It's the master key. So what does this powerful key actually look like? Well, the page tells us right there in the main field. Our entire, complex, digital passport is represented by something incredibly simple that we use every day: our email address or our phone number. That's it. That's the physical part of your digital key. Okay, so you've proven who you are, but then how do you protect that identity? And that brings us to our second big idea: security and recovery. And this page has some really subtle but really powerful features designed to do just that. And that leads us to this tiny, little, unassuming link, forgot email. Now, what's so interesting about this is just how important it is. We spend all our time worrying about forgetting our password, right? But if you forget the key itself, your actual email address, this little link is pretty much your only lifeline to get everything back. But let's flip that scenario. What if the risk isn't you forgetting your info, but someone else finding it? What if the computer you're sitting at right now isn't actually yours? Well, the page has a plan for that too. The page makes a really important distinction here. On your own computer, it's all about convenience. It keeps you signed in. But if it's not your computer, the advice completely changes. It tells you to use a private window or guest mode, which basically acts like a digital clean room. The second you close that window, poof, your account details, your activity, it all vanishes. The key takeaway is that the page itself is teaching you situational security. All right, finally, let's look at the very bottom of the page, the fine print that, let's be honest, we all ignore. This isn't just clutter. This is the contract. These are the rules of the road for using this digital doorway. It's just 3 little words: help, privacy, and terms. Now, real talk, how many of us have ever actually clicked on these? They just sit there at the bottom of the page. And for most of us, that's where they stay, totally unseen and unread. But these 3 links, they actually represent the 3 pillars of your agreement with this platform. Help is basically the instruction manual. Privacy, that's the company telling you what it will and won't do with your personal information. It's the story of your data. And terms, well, that's the legally binding contract you agree to every single time you sign in. So when we put all of these pieces back together, what do we actually see? Well, we see that this is so much more than a login page. It's a really carefully constructed system that's balancing those 3 core principles of our digital lives that we just walked through. And this really shows that balance perfectly. The entire page is split almost evenly between these 3 ideas. A third of it is about proving your identity. Another third is about ensuring its security. And that last third is about the agreement you're making. Every single thing we looked at falls into one of those buckets. Which brings us to the biggest takeaway here. We tend to think of signing in as this automatic, mindless thing we do, but it's not. It is an active choice.
Every single time you type in your info and click next, you are actively asserting your identity, you're trusting the security, and you are reaffirming your agreement to the terms. So I'll leave you with this question. The next time you land on this page, this simple little digital doorway you pass through every day, just take a half second to really see it. And ask yourself, what am I really agreeing to? And what am I really unlocking?